And the South Carolina primary draws closer. Trump leading in the polls, but several campaigns looking to pull an upset while some are just looking to stay alive. But first, Trump going after Ted Cruz again over the birther issue, now even threatening to sue. Trump also going after the super PAC, Club for Growth Action PAC, because of this political ad.
There's nothing conservative about proposing the largest tax hike in history. There's nothing conservative about supporting socialized single-payer health care. There's nothing conservative about abusing eminent domain for personal gain. There's nothing conservative about 4 bankruptcies. There's nothing conservative about giving money to the Clintons. There's nothing conservative about Donald Trump.
Joining me now is the president of Club for Growth, David McIntosh, and Gina Loudon, an occasional Trump supporter, is with me as well. You know, I got to start with you, David. I thought you guys had backed away from your attacks on Donald Trump, particularly, of course, he came out and reminded everyone you guys sort of went hat in hand asking for money. He rejected you, and this is sort of a vendetta that you guys have against him.
Yeah, that's his line. It was really, I think, Trump trying to buy our silence. And we feel, Charles, we just have to tell the voters in South Carolina the truth about him, that he's not a conservative. He's got a long record of supporting liberal causes. And he's just like the politicians they're frustrated with. He'll say anything in order to get the vote.
But by the same token, though, you were willing to accept money. If you would have written that check, you guys would have taken the check. So there is something a little bit disingenuous. Most people feel, at least a lot of people feel, about this whole attack.
Okay. Well, I figure if Trump really is a conservative, yeah, he might be interested in giving money to the Club for Growth. He never sent the check. In fact, he made it pretty clear he wasn't going to do that. I think the most important thing here is what's Trump going to do if he gets to be president? He's going to have federal government pay for health care. So instead of Obamacare, we'll get Trump care. He'll probably raise taxes rather than do his tax cut. And he'll use his eminent domain to take people's property. Who knows what he'll use in the power of the federal government to do to people who are Americans.
Gina, listen, you're very astute on the political side. You have championed conservatives for a long time, and you like Donald Trump. You think Donald Trump is authentic and real. You don't see him going against his word.
I like what Donald Trump has added to the conversation, Charles. I like that Donald Trump single-handedly turned the establishment on its head. I like that Donald Trump has shielded, has served as a buffer, essentially, for other conservatives who never would have had a chance because the establishment in Washington, D.C. would have seen to it they were destroyed from the get-go. I wouldn't call myself a Trump supporter. I really tried to remain analytical about this until one person really rises up as our candidate, and I'm willing to support that person.
But do you think the Club for Growth is off base with their attack on Donald Trump with respect to all of the things they're assuming he'll do and go completely against everything that he's saying on the campaign trail?
I think negative campaigning is, I think it's sad at this point. I mean, just when Trump had decided he was going to pull his negative ad against Ted Cruz, now this ad comes out. And it's, again, it's all about labeling. The modern voter today, they are not concerned about labels. They don't want to be called conservative, liberal, Democrat. They don't want any of the rest of it. What they're concerned about is putting America back in a position of bargaining from a position of power. That's what most people are thinking about. And when they hear about Donald Trump, they think, okay, this guy has been successful in his life. I want America to be successful on the worldwide platform, and that's why they're supporting him. So I just don't think slapping labels, I'm conservative, you're conservative, I'm so conservative that I can tell you you're not conservative, I don't find that effective today.
What do you make of that, David? Because I'm seeing more and more where people are rejecting that term or label conservative when they once embraced it.
No, I think everybody's running after the label conservative. I do think Gina's got a point. Trump's strength is in his personality rather than ideology. What we're trying to do is educate the voters who do care about the issues. Do they want government health care or not? Do they want tax increases or not? He's not their guy.
But when you say tax increases, Donald Trump is not promising tax increases, though. But this is where the thing gets all muddled. Why are you saying he's going to do these things when he's saying he's going to do the exact opposite?
Because just a few months ago, in the middle of the campaign, somebody asked him, so you're backing off your earlier $4 trillion increase? And he said, no, if the circumstances come back, I would do that all over again. So I don't think we know what he would do as president.
Which increase is that you're talking about?
It came after the 2008-2009. He suggested to pay down the debt. We have a huge tax increase on wealth, amounted to about $4 trillion. and he strongly endorsed it then. He said he would still do it.
Donald Trump has talked about taxing the upper income, including his own taxes. David, a lot of people are wondering, Club for Growth, who do you guys represent? Where do you get your money from? You know, because you guys have drawn a serious line in the sand, and apparently, obviously, you feel threatened to a certain degree. So who do you represent?
By the way, if you look at Charles's his tax increase, it wouldn't have affected people like him who make their money off of selling property, because they get to retain the capital gains when they buy a new property. So it's pretty clever. He doesn't get hurt, everybody else does. We represent the ideas that a free market, lower taxes.
Do corporations donate to you? Do rich people donate? Who donates to your organization?
We have about 20,000 donors. They range from people who write $25 checks all the way up. So it's people who really care about what is the economy, what do we do about the economy, and who will be a representative of constitutional limited government.
Your organization, David, but your organization in the past has supported many candidates who had supported eminent domain, including, by the way, Ted Cruz, who has supported eminent domain from a Canadian standpoint with the Keystone Pipeline. And I think that all the GOP candidates have made it clear that nobody out here is about raising taxes. I think when we start trying to parse
Gina,
that out
let me go back to the eminent domain.
I think when we try to parse that out,
there's a big difference there.
We're not really being completely honest about it, because
So
Ted Cruz is not saying he's going to raise taxes, and Donald Trump is not saying he's going to raise taxes.
On eminent domain, yes, that's a legitimate process to get property needed to build roads and other public property. What Donald likes to do is take it from a homeowner and give it to another developer, another private person like himself in New Jersey, and they get to make all the money off of that property. That's called abuse, and that's what we think is a bad idea.
Gina, recently Donald Trump said that he's running one way, but that he may change a little bit. Now, I think he was talking about political style as opposed to ideology or substance, but is that a yellow flag for anyone? Is that a red flag? Can that be read into?
You're talking about him saying that he's not going to use vulgarities anymore?
Well, not just the vulgarities, but he kind of talked that since New Hampshire, like, you know, he's going to tone it down a little bit. You run one way, but we may see as the process go on, maybe a little change in him. Is that something, is that a tell that perhaps that carries on through an administration?
I think that, you know, Donald Trump he's never claimed to be a politician. He's just not that packaged politician, and so there's a lot of forgiveness, for better or for worse, and whether or not it's fair to the other candidates, Charles, this is the kind of thing that Donald Trump can do, because we all get that he's learning how to be a candidate. But he knows what he knows, and I think his supporters trust him to understand business and how to make it work. And I think that his supporters believe that he can take that same template and lay it on the American economy and make America great again. And I think that's the only argument he has to make. So I've been saying from the beginning, Charles, I don't like the vulgarity. I don't like the personal attacks, name-calling, that kind of thing. I'm really glad that he's turned over this new leaf. And I think, as I said, he's learning when he goes. And I think the voters will probably, my guess is, be patient with that. But one thing's for sure, the media will talk about it nonstop.